gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Director of Clinical Research, Dr. Nicole Stevens, and Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Russell Osgathorpe.
Hey guys, it is so much fun to be with you this afternoon. Are you ready to talk data?
Come on.
Oh, no. We've been through this, you guys and I. Are you ready to talk data?
Data!
Okay. Due to scheduling problems this week, mostly my own, Dr. Stevens and I are presenting MetaPWR data in the middle of a business meeting. I know, a little bit crazy, but hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. We really want to make sure that you heard these stories. So by now you've heard a lot about the MetaPWR products, and I'm sure you're excited to use each part of the system, share them with others, and learn more about them. In an effort to give you all the clinical data you need to effectively share this story, we're going to take a deep dive right now into the research and science of MetaPWR Assist and talk you through the 2 human clinical trials that we completed earlier this year.
Yes, this is the first time we've been able to bring you a product with not 1, but 2 randomized placebo-controlled data from 2 different clinical trials. Our teams have been busy formulating and testing MetaPWR products for more than 5 years because we know that metabolic processes are so important. This is a critical part of health, right?
Yeah,
Did you love Dr. O's talk this morning?
Okay.
Yes? So this session, we're going to focus on the data we've generated about how we maintain those healthy blood glucose levels with MetaPWR Assist.
We're going to ask you to consider 3 things as we go through this data. First, remember that metabolism is complex. We know that, you know that. You might be feeling overwhelmed as you hear all of these technical terms, pathways, and chemical names. It's understandable. There are entire careers built around just tiny areas of metabolism. In fact, at least 24 Nobel Prizes have been awarded for work related to metabolism. 24. The great news is that you don't have to understand it all. Just keep an open mind to the pieces that we're talking with you about. Definitely learn more if you'd like, but this is a great place to start. Second, we'd like you to think about MetaPWR as a system. We'll talk about the individual pieces, but it is designed to work as a whole and work in concert with other foundational products like you just heard from Ashley, like LLV. Third, these MetaPWR products were built using groundbreaking doTERRA research processes that are revolutionizing essential oil clinical research. No one in the essential oil industry is doing this but us. Thank you. If you were at convention last year, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder. You heard me introduce a pathway through which we produce not only the best products, but the best research in the industry. There are 4 pillars of clinical research and development at doTERRA. Purity and consistency are essential first steps. If you don't have them, you can't do clinical research. Without pure product and consistent chemistry between batches over years, it would be useless to do clinical research on a product because you couldn't guarantee the results of 1 year's product to another. Batch-to-batch consistency is required before you can move to the next steps in the clinical research pathway of potency and efficacy. Potency and efficacy are proven through human clinical trials. These 4 pillars are sequential, and if work is done out of sequence, the results are highly questionable and likely not repeatable. The 2 trials we will be discussing with you today were designed as a potency or a dosage trial, and the second trial was an efficacy trial with MetaPWR Assist. So before we share the data with you, please let me explain why MetaPWR Assist is so important. MetaPWR Assist is designed to help us maintain healthy blood glucose levels. When our blood glucose is in the normal range, our bodies, organs, and tissues work together to support the healthy function of each of our body systems. When blood glucose levels are suboptimal, proteins in our bodies oxidize, and they can't do their jobs as effectively. This leads to premature aging of our bodies and suboptimal metabolism. So said otherwise, sugar is the enemy. The ingredients in MetaPWR Assist are specifically designed to help us maintain healthy blood glucose levels and improve our metabolism.
Okay, so you ready to dive in? Okay, I know, brains might be a little full, as I said, even more full now. Hang in there with us, this is really cool stuff. So in this morning's general session, we talked about how insulin, one of our body's most important hormones, manages those blood glucose levels. Right, so when we eat food, blood glucose levels rise. That rise in blood glucose signals our pancreas to release insulin. So in this graph here, the red arrow shows the peak glucose levels, and then the gray arrow shows the insulin response. As insulin rises, glucose levels fall. This is because the insulin signals glucose to move inside the cells, making it available for energy production, kind of like that engine we mentioned this morning. This is the basic process happening inside your body every single time you eat. Now, this is a really elegant process under very tight control. But as you can imagine, we run into trouble if our blood glucose levels are frequently elevated through unhealthy lifestyle choices like eating too much sugar, too much processed food, being too sedentary, all the things you've heard for a really long time. The pancreas must pump out insulin nonstop in these situations. So it's like that engine of the fine car that's just forced to run at top speed with no brake, and then what happens to the car? It gets junky pretty fast.
It really does, guys. An important step in the process Dr. Stevens just described is the breakdown of the carbohydrates and sugars we eat into simple sugars. Without this step, we can't absorb the carbohydrate we eat. They're too big. So what if there were a way to slow down these enzymes so that carbohydrates we eat aren't broken down as quickly? Guess what? That's what MetaPWR Assist does. The ingredients in MetaPWR Assist block the function of the enzymes that turn carbohydrate into simple sugars. This leads to decreased blood glucose levels after meals.
Okay, so this is incredibly important to understand. This is kind of one of the keys that we're trying to have a take home here. The mulberry leaf extract in MetaPWR contains those amino sugars. You heard Alex talk about them this morning, as did I. These are molecules that bind to the enzymes that break down carbohydrates and block their activity. Right, so when that enzyme activity is blocked, the carbohydrates we eat can't be absorbed as effectively. So, because of the activity and the ingredients in MetaPWR Assist, we hypothesized that taking MetaPWR Assist before meals would lead to a drop in blood glucose levels after meals in healthy individuals.
Boy, did we ever hope that would be true. We plan to answer this question with 2 human clinical trials. First, a small pilot study to determine potency or dosing, monitor safety markers, and confirm the endpoints we wanted to do in a larger clinical study. Then, the second, larger, longer, randomized placebo-controlled efficacy trial to confirm the results and seek statistical significance.
So for that first study, looking at potency, we designed a single-blind, placebo-controlled crossover clinical study, including 15 healthy participants. Okay, so half were taking a 250 milligram dose, half were taking a 500 milligram dose before each meal.
Remember this was a dose
finding, right?
Yeah.
All participants wore a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM. You've probably seen those, right? The little device that sticks on the arm, measures blood sugar every 15 minutes, day and night. We gave each participant the same high carbohydrate breakfast, right? We kind of wanted to stack the deck a little bit so we could see exactly what their blood sugars were doing.
Think about that. We made them all come in and eat the same meal all together. They were our little...
It's a breakfast
Well, we don't want to call them lab rats, but we made them do what we wanted them to do.
And they liked it.
Resistance was futile.
Okay, so participants took a placebo for about half the time, about a week, and then the MetaPWR Assist for another week, while eating this really tightly controlled breakfast, and then their regular diet for the rest of the day. So, what did we find? I'll tell you what we found surprised and delighted us.
It was Christmas morning.
I came into Russell's
Seriously.
office. You should, his happy face. This is
my happy face. That's all I got.
The MetaPWR Assist showed great activity in helping smooth those blood sugar spikes right after eating, and it made those peaks and valleys of blood sugar smoother throughout the day. Now, the supplement was well tolerated by our participants too. Many reported feeling better energy, fewer cravings for high carbohydrate food. Most of all, we were astonished that we found statistical significance with such a small sample size.
That was really remarkable. We weren't expecting that.
No, we weren't. It wasn't even designed to do that. We thought, okay, let's just figure out what we're doing, and then we'll look for significance in the next trial. Oh no, we found statistical significance first. And some of you are like, oh, that's cool. But some of you who know statistics, I mean, that's really cool. And that tends to be a good indicator that what you're doing, the effect you're looking for, is really strong, okay, in such a small sample size. Now, participants taking the MetaPWR Assist had blood sugar variation, so the difference between their peaks and their valleys, 14.3% lower than those taking the placebo. Now, the difference between groups was statistically significant with a p-value 0.036. Okay? So even more interesting was the effect that we saw between the different doses of MetaPWR Assist and placebo. Those taking 250 milligrams showed that decrease in post-meal blood glucose. Those taking 500 milligrams showed an even stronger effect. So this speaks to the flexibility of the product, right? It meets you where you are. It can be used as you need it. We measured this drop in blood glucose level after eating to be 12 points difference, some even more. Now, the difference in blood sugar spike with 2 capsules right after eating was statistically different between MetaPWR and the placebo with a p-value of 0.022. That was so exciting for us to see. That was significance where we weren't even expecting it.
We really were pretty excited about this. When she came in and showed me the data, I was happy.
And I said, Russ, I've never seen you so excited.
We carried the momentum from that study and excitement through the next trial, which was our larger and longer efficacy study. We now knew we could see significant improvement in blood sugar levels in healthy participants when they all ate the same thing. But what about a real-life scenario? When we gave MetaPWR Assist to people with a wide range of lifestyle choices, eating habits, and carbohydrate loads over a much longer period of time, would we see the same statistical and clinical significance?
Okay, so our MetaPWR Assist study number 2, double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized, crossover clinical trial. We recruited more than 40 healthy participants, had 26 complete the entire study with a full set of data, and again, participants were wearing a continuous glucose monitor. We periodically gathered some biological samples to check for various safety markers. Participants were randomly assigned to take the placebo or MetaPWR Assist now for 1 month, and then they switched over and take the other treatment for 1 month. Now, with glucose readings happening every 15 minutes, day and night, for more than 2 months in 26 plus participants, can you imagine how much data that was?
A lot.
It was a lot. Actually, more than 180,000 data points we analyzed from this study. Now, the results were even more exciting and impressive to us than the first study. Not only did we find statistical significance again in measures of post-meal glucose spikes and glucose levels throughout the day, we found even higher significance than before. And this was in the real-life scenario without that tightly controlled meal. What we found, again, is that when looking at the peaks and dips of blood sugar after eating, MetaPWR Assist significantly smooths the line compared to placebo. P-value, wait for it, 0.001.
Yeah.
What that means, if p-values, you're like, oh, that sounds cool, but what is that? What that means is that we have a 99.9% probability what we're seeing is an actual effect of the product and not due just to chance alone. 99.9%. That is huge. This is very rare in a supplement, actually. A lot of the articles that we read, this just doesn't happen. So this gives us great confidence in the ability of MetaPWR to help regulate healthy blood sugars already in the normal range. And what you're seeing here is the kind of data that we collected during this study. Okay, in the top panel, again, we've got someone taking the placebo. You can see those peaks and valleys throughout the day. In the bottom panel, you've got the participant taking MetaPWR Assist, the smoother line, fewer peaks and valleys of blood sugar.
For those of you who are statisticians in the group, I know that this is one person, and you might say to yourself, so what? That's what I say when I see stuff like this. We took every participant, every day that they were on it, averaged all of those numbers and came up with those statistically significant data points. So we just gave this to you so you could see what it looks like for an individual, but this was representative of the whole group.
Yes, this is one example, but now imagine there's variation as you start to cram all these people together and look at their data in conglomeration. So when we see the effects that we saw, this is for real, right? This is exciting. The average blood sugar in this example throughout the day dropped more than 10 points. So peaks less, valleys less, nice and smooth. We found that MetaPWR Assist also did not demonstrate any safety concerns, which we were super excited about. That's kind of an important thing as well, right? We want this to be a great, safe product for you. Now here's where it gets interesting as well. It appeared to have a differential effect, meaning a stronger balancing capability for participants with a greater need, right? Those with higher variation responded better, with a gentler effect if the blood sugars were already close to optimized. So now this is an indication to us that MetaPWR Assist is a great supporter of that healthy lifestyle. A very important part of the MetaPWR system. Maybe one of the unsung heroes.
Right. So in simple terms, what do these results mean for you? By inhibiting the enzymatic reaction that breaks down carbohydrates and large sugars into glucose or simple sugars, we slow the spike of blood sugar that can occur after eating. Fast carbohydrates become slower carbohydrates that put less strain on our glucose management systems and provide more sustained energy throughout the day.
That's right. You're seeing this data for the first time, and it's something we are thrilled to share because it really demonstrates the power of this product. Here's the really exciting part, hopefully for you. We're working to compile this data into a publication that you'll be able to download, read, share. This is a big one. Peer-reviewed, the data can be in your hand, and we're super excited about that. It shows validation. We're doing the kind of groundbreaking formulation, development, and research that no one else can do, because it's built on that foundation of purity, consistency, potency, and efficacy.
We'll wrap up with some key ideas for you to consider and tuck away for future use. First, while we focused on MetaPWR Assist here, remember that this is one part of a family of products designed to work as a system. We're giving you the tools to support your healthy lifestyle choices in natural and powerful ways. Second, we're talking about individual metabolic pathways, but the truth is that these processes are complex and intertwined. Don't worry if you don't understand it all right away. The scientists at doTERRA not only understand these processes, but have found ways to support their optimal functioning in concert with your healthy choices, and the educational systems we're providing you after convention will help you get this message across. If you're a science nerd like us, learn all you can about these products and how they work. If science isn't for you, I feel bad for you. I really do. This product line has more shareables and educational pieces than any product line we've ever launched. We want to support you and your ability to feel confident talking about this product.
Third, as we showed you in the data, MetaPWR Assist helps manage glucose levels after eating, making those peaks and valleys less intense. And it also works throughout the day to help keep blood sugar levels more even. Wildly fluctuating glucose and insulin levels are the enemy of health span and vitality.
Amen.
So, just like the engine of that fine sports car, we want to keep our glucose management systems running smoothly so they work in optimal condition for years to come. MetaPWR Assist is one of these keys to increase our health span. Now finally, you've heard a lot about how our formulations, methods, processes are unique in the industry. We're proud of that. It's part of what makes doTERRA different and a big part of what makes us a great partner in your wellness journey. These are products that we understand better than anyone on the planet, and even more fundamentally, these are products that we trust enough to use on ourselves and our families. We hope that gives you the confidence to move forward and see what they can do in your life. Now, if you have any more questions or would like to nerd out on more of the science and information with MetaPWR products, come talk to the scientists in the showcase. Thank you so much for your time today. We've loved spending it with you.
Great to be with you.
Turn my shirt inside out, inside out.